Let's welcome on board Satish Pai from Hindalco Industries, the MD, and let's talk about how their quarterly performance has been. Mr. Pai, great to have you today on ET Now. Your macroeconomic challenges, coupled with slower than expected economic recovery in China, has clearly impacted your performance for the last several quarters. But now, as we look forward, what is your broad outlook for the rest of the year?
So I think the two parts of the macroeconomic equation which are important is has the Fed sort of reached its interest rate hikes and is the US economy not going to go into a recession? And the second part is the Chinese economy. So I think it would be fair to say that on the US side, there's a lot more optimism that the interest rates hike have reached more or less the peak. Maybe there's one more rate increase. But the US economy seems to be in good health. So I think that's the positive side of the macroeconomic equation. The Chinese economy, on the other hand, people are quite worried because it doesn't look like consumption is picked back up yet. So that's what's keeping the commodity prices a little bit depressed. So on the macroeconomic side, in the second half of this year, we are going to have to see if the Chinese economy can pick back up.
Okay. So in your con call, you said that the indicators for Q2 indicate a broader slowdown in activity. Can you just specify more on that? Does that mean that in the near term there is going to be weakness?
No, I really what I said was that we have seen in our sectors, which is can, auto, we are seeing actually quite robust demand. In India downstream, both in aluminium and copper, we are seeing quite robust demand. What I said is that the aluminium prices will be in a range of 2100 to 2300, largely because of what is happening in China. So there is a certain weakness, and China is 50% of production and consumption of any big commodity. So really that is what could keep commodity prices depressed. The demand side seems to be pretty strong.
Mr. Pai, hi, morning. Tell us a little bit more about how the geography-wise performance has been. Do you think that soft demand from Europe will continue to remain a concern?
No, I mean, when you look at it again in our sectors, for Novelis Q1, auto was a record, 200 KT. So Europe, Asia and US demand was extremely strong. Aerospace is strong. So it's on the can side, and in can side, South America, Brazil was the only weak spot because of destocking. And we think that the destocking is largely over. And from Q2 onwards, demand there should pick up as well. The US demand in can has already come back quite well.
Right. Mr. Pai, coal prices fell around 2% on a sequential basis. But going forward, what is your view on which way coal prices are headed? And subsequently, or rather consequently, what is your outlook then on spreads for the coming quarters?
So I think that, our cost of production, as you said, was down 2% Q1 to Q4. And we are seeing that coal availability and pricing is moderating. So we are guiding that cost of production in Q2 versus Q1 will be down a further 3%.
When we spoke to you, you did indicate that most part of the expansion will be inorganic and you don't see any inorganic opportunity. Do you maintain that stance?
Yes. I think that we are still very much focused on our organic expansion plans, both in Hindalco and Novelis.
What about debt? Because that has risen this quarter, 38,500 crores from the earlier 33,000 odd crore rupees at the end of last quarter. What could that be attributed to, and what are your plans to offset debt?
So look, the debt did not rise. If you look at our long-term debt, it's exactly the same level as it has been. What happened this quarter is there was a little bit of a working capital block because we imported quite a lot of copper. So it's just a working capital block that happened. We have our debt. We have no intention of increasing the debt at all.
Sure. I would also want to talk about Novelis' EBITDA per ton, because that jumped 11% to now $479. How confident are you of achieving this kind of EBITDA per ton target of, say, $500 per ton in Q4, given the kind of macro concerns?
Actually, we are confident that we may reach that even before Q4.
Right. Mr. Pai, great to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for taking the time out.